I just turned 40 years old, and as I reflect on the dumpster fire that is my current midlife crisis and existence, some things have occurred to me. So I'll just say quickly, I've talked about this in other videos, but
Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
All right, this is Burned Out Babe 88, and it says just turned 40, and nothing looks like I thought it would. No house, no kids, no security, just a lot of unlearning. Damn, that's crazy. I ain't gonna lie, I related to the first part. She said, I went through a midlife crisis at the year 40. I am 45 years old, okay? But I went through a midlife crisis, but I don't know if it was my own doing. It was the pandemic. That's what I turned 40 in 2020, you guys. And for those that don't know, I'm a rapper, an independent underground rapper. And I made my whole life touring, just grinding, starving artist style. And then in 2010, I started throwing open mics and concerts. And then I became a concert promoter. Fast forward, I became more successful at throwing concerts than I did with my rap career. So I started leaning into being a promoter, full-time, throwing concerts, big concerts, small concerts, all types. But it was very successful. 2016, it really started getting some legs, started making some money for real. And 2020 came. And they said, you cannot socially be around anybody. No concerts, no this, no that, no other. I didn't know how I was going to feed my family. All those years, of being a rapper and building up to this moment where you're finally getting ahead. Finally. I just had my daughter, I think, when I was 38. So she's about 2 years old at the time, I think. I don't know. I lose track. And I was shook. Had my first kid. I have a wife, people to take care of. And they said, you can no longer work. Now, I made it out of that. I'm not going to get into how, because I want to hear what she's talking about. This is a good time to have these type of conversations, I think, So you guys tap in the comments. If you rock with me, I'm Black Pegasus. Link in the description of my other channels. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let's see what's going on here.
I just turned 40 years old, and as I reflect on the dumpster fire that is my current midlife crisis and existence, some things have occurred to me. So I'll just say quickly, I've talked about this in other videos, but I was laid off last year, about a year ago, after a 10-year career being a designer and working for Fortune 500 companies, and I've just lost the will to continue on. By the time I was laid off, I was extremely ill and broken and completely stressed out and burned out, and it's been a year, but I still can't fathom going back into that job. But I was so ambitious when I was younger. In my 20s, I was I'm going to be a boss bitch. I'm going to own my own home. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have kids. I'm going to have a dog. I'm going to have all the things.
That don't even make sense. That's a contradiction. I'm just going to say it right now because we got to start getting this correct, because this delusion of the Western world, when you say, I'm going to be a boss bitch, typically that means I'm going to be a strong, independent woman, right? Independent of what? Men, right? So saying I'm going to be a boss bitch, but then I'm going to get married, have kids, it's just, it don't even work that well, if we're being honest. If you want to get married and have children, it's so messed up what society has done, downplaying the importance of women being mothers, homemakers, and all this stuff, right? Because she doesn't even have the inclination to want to do that because society doesn't value it when it's one of the most important things we have. And I've devalued it at some point when I was younger. Now I have kids. I see all the shit my wife does. I'm like, shit, girl, you don't have to work. I got this. Now I'm a psychopath. I'm a grinder, and in others, if certain situations would have went the way they would, maybe my wife has only not been working for 1 year, But I don't ever want her to have to go back into the workforce, and I'm willing to do what needs to be done for that because I see the serenity. I see the peacefulness in the house. I see just her whole life. She just loves it. So when I run into these women that are just like, I'm a boss bitch, I have my own career, I have a job, this, that, and the other, that is great. If you authentically are passionate about that and you really, truly love that, good for you. Awesome. I'm cool with it. It's cool. But from the majority of women I see, they would rather be home with their children and doing stuff like that. Now, our society keeps leaning more and more towards, hedonism, I think it's called. And, people are more selfish and, they don't want to sacrifice for kids and da-da-da-da. So it is what it is. That's a whole nother story. But what she was saying right there, and not trying to be too critical of her, she's going through a hard time. I understand. I couldn't imagine me being at my age that I'm at and not having at least children, right? But my thing was like, I'm not going to have children with anybody that I don't trust. Therefore, if I trust them, I'm going to get married, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where I'm at in my life, and I'm very blessed and lucky. So I just think the moment she said what she said, it just didn't make sense. This is probably why she's in the middle of this midlife crisis, because you have to choose. And I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Like, even as a man, like, if you want to have a family, you have to choose to sacrifice certain things. And just like a woman, if you want to have a family and a husband, you're going to need to sacrifice certain things. But we're in this weird, chaotic society that's unraveling from all this stuff. I don't know what's right or wrong anymore. I think I know, I have ideas. We see things that really worked. We saw when society was healthy. We saw when societies had more marriages. We saw these things. And the further we get away from it, this is where we're at. Is now better than the past. Obvious racial relations are better now than the past. But, is the living standard, are people happier? Or more people depressed and on, medication? I mean, the answer's right in front of our nose. I'm not going to tell it to you. I'm going to just tell you what I think.
In my 20s, I was like, I'm going to be a boss bitch. I'm going to own my own home. Like, I'm going to get married. I'm going to have kids. I'm going to have a dog. I'm going to have all the things. I have none of the things. I'm married. I have an amazing husband. And I have an amazing dog. But I'm not a homeowner. We live in Portland, which is super expensive.
Kudos to her. Yay. We got one. Like, you, I don't know, man. I'm like, damn. At least the loneliness thing is out the window. She married. Shout out to girl. Come on now. Hold up. You go and get you some, man. You landed hopefully your mans, your dream mans. Anyways, let's go. Okay. I was ranting. My rant, a little bit, got to take a little off of that rant now because she done it. Let's go.
Of all the things. I have none of the things.
Gotcha.
I'm married. I have an amazing husband and I have an amazing dog.
I like that.
But I'm not a homeowner. We live in Portland, which is super expensive, and we're renting a small townhouse, which is way too small for us. But that's all we can afford. And like, I was the main breadwinner. My husband is working 2 jobs. He's trying to build a business, a real estate business, and it's been a year and a half, and it's just hard. So he's working as a meat cutter full time, and he barely sleeps so that we can pay our bills while we try to climb out of this hole that we're in. But I also have $90,000 in student loan debt for this career that I worked and fought so hard to get. Go to college, they said. You'll be able to have a stable job, they said. You'll be able to buy a house, they said, and take care of yourself forever and have a retirement, they said. I feel like at this point I'm seeing things clearly, like the programming is falling away and realizing the lie that we were all sold.
This is a reoccurring theme in these videos I'm watching on TikTok and talking about. Now, I want to give her a high five because guess what? I don't own a home. I have a wife, I have children, I have dogs, and I wanted to buy a home. I missed out when I should have bought a home in I think it was think it was like 2012. I think it was 2012-ish. We had some opportunities and I fumbled the ball. There's a lot of things I didn't know. Like, dude, in the last 10 years, I've grown and matured at a exponential rate. So I learned a lot. But she shouldn't knock herself. So the thing that me and her have in common is the states we live in. So she lives in Portland, and I was watching something online about how Denver has these increasing prices. Like, you know, the cost of living is super high in Denver, but the person doing the story was talking about how this just happened in Portland. So like all these people are moving from Colorado, all the locals, because they can't afford to live here anymore. And the same thing has happened in Portland. And all these trends, I think Seattle might have some. I know Portland for sure, California, you know, Colorado, New York. You know, it's really expensive to live in these places. And, you know, I want to buy a home, but the type of home we would need and want to, you know, be in a proper neighborhood for the kids, be safe, in the area I live. And I live south, so I don't live in Denver, so it's not as expensive. But the place that we would want to live is $550,000 to $600,000 for a house. And with the interest rates being what they are, a 30-year, you know, loan or whatever the hell, you know, you're looking at like $1.5 million. Like it could, if you start. So, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I actually did a deep dive on ChatGPT about what the cost was. So I might be conflating this with hidden costs, because there's hidden costs. Like if you don't put 20% down, there's a PMI, there's freaking, property tax, maintenance over the years, So everything that when I was doing the math with ChatGPT, it was either 1.5 or 1.8 million is what you end up putting into this house by that 30-year mark. So like you have to readjust your thinking, you know, especially me being an entrepreneur. Like it'd be smarter for me to invest money and put the money into something that's going to grow instead of just parking it in a house. And yeah, people, oh, you can pull a loan, equity, this, that, and the other. But I'm an entrepreneur. Like I can make that money move a little faster in other endeavors. So it's tough. Me and my wife were actually just talking about this a few hours ago, because our lease is up and we were thinking about renting a nicer place, same price range. But then we found out, and this is the trend that's going on, people aren't buying houses in Colorado right now. And the rent is going down slightly. So every year our rent goes up by $100. This year they said only $50. So there's this trend happening in real time. And I think we've decided just to stay put one more year, but we'll see, you know. But anyways, I get it. And see, I was sold this lie. I just didn't go for it, but not because I knew it was a lie. My parents, when I was 18, was like, yo, you got to pay rent the moment you hit 18, $350 a month, period, unless you go to college. If you go to college, you can stay with us for free. Well, I just started paying rent because I was like F school, F college. I was always very rebellious. I wasn't that great academically anyways, so I didn't go. That's luck. I didn't know that paying $350 a month to my parents would teach me how to be independent, how to be disciplined with my money, how to create money managing habits, and I wouldn't go into crazy college loan debt. I didn't know that at the time. I was just a knucklehead. I was like, man, I'm just going to work, you know, get this car, get some chicks, like I'll figure it out. That's what I did. On the other hand, the people, because she's not much, I'm a little older than her, but, you know, so we're like similar. Like she was born in 85, depending on when this video dropped. So we're not far apart. And we were all sold the same thing. You got to go to college to get a good career and all this shit. And it was a lie. It was a lie for a lot of people. So I understand the sentiment, but I'm kind of an optimistic person. I'm kind of happy for her. I'm like, bro, yeah, I know you might not be in the house, but who gives a fuck how big the house is? It's about the love in the house, right? Like you got your husband, he's working his ass off, doing 2 jobs, trying to make the dream work. It's not easy, but you got him, if you ain't got kids, who cares how big the house is? You know, but at that age, she's like, damn, we ain't even gonna have kids. That might be depressing. So I get it, but don't stress that living quarters, man. That's just a vessel. You know what I mean? They sold us this dream too. Like me personally, I'm very nomadic. I personally want to travel the world and just live in different places for months at a time with my family. I like to take them to Europe, live in pockets of Europe, go to Thailand, like go to Japan, and just spend 3 years just living, like having my kids be super cultured and see how the real world is. I don't even really want to stay put like that. So anyways.
And I posted a video about toxic corporate culture that got a lot of views. I was surprised, honestly. It's amazing, and I'm super grateful. And it feels like I feel seen, and I feel like it's nice to see comments of people going through the same thing, because I feel like we're all feeling it, on a mass scale. Do any of us believe in this whole corporate atmosphere anymore? I don't think we do. And how many of us are burned out? 90%? That's what it seems like when I read people's stories. This is not sustainable. How long can we do this for? How long can we sacrifice our soul's needs, our body's needs, just to get the check? I can't do it anymore. I cannot make myself do it. I'll literally go work multiple jobs to avoid doing that, which is wild to me, because that's what I was getting away from when I went to college. And this just comes at
See, I'm just different. I don't know what is wrong with me. Something's wrong with me, you guys. Cause I will do I'll just do the shit. If I had to do a corporate job, I'm if that's what I have to do, bro. I went to Colombia. I went to Panama. I went to Mexico, and I saw how those people had to live. I don't give a fuck, bro. If I wasn't in the situation I'm in now, throwing concerts and YouTubing, shit. I don't have the access to do corporate work. And I'm not trying to do stuff that's, evil and harming people, but I'm a maniac, bro. I'm going to get this bread for my family, period, point blank. What I have to do that, not trying to go off the deep end, but I'm willing to get it cracking, That's just how I'm built. And so, I go out there and see these, essays, in Mexico, selling maps and chicles and freaking quilts and shit on the street. I'm bro, I'll go to a corporate job. I'll freaking pour concrete. Bro, I'm going to get the bag. There's nothing. You won't hear me say I can't do that. I get burnt out doing YouTube videos. And the moment I do, I slap myself. I'm you's a bitch. There's some people out here really struggling. Then go to the third world and they're so effed up. You get down there and you do what the F you do. That's why bro, if y'all knew how much I record and do bro, I'm a psycho. Ask my wife. She don't know how to disconnect me because I'm nah, I'm going to get it. We going to be all right. Don't ever worry. That's just my freaking personality. And I get scared too sometimes because I'll be yo, shit be getting close. I be taking some risks sometimes where I could take huge L's. I understand, but it's really hard for me to say in this type of, to say I can't do something. I'm no. And then again, maybe it's a guy-girl thing too. Because girls, you don't have to do a lot of shit. Hey, you technically, if you lean on your man a little bit, get off that boss base, but bro, I don't even think like that. I don't know. Maybe, am I effed up, you guys? Am I scarred? Have I sold my soul? I don't know. It's just all I know. The hustle, the grind. And I've always just wanted a better, I remember being young and my mom's treat to us was going to the 39-cent hamburger stand on a Friday. Or, Taco Bell has this special where you get 10 tacos for some price. You know what I'm saying? I'm bruh, I didn't eat, bro. We'd have steak on my birthday. I'm just thinking, bro, God, I'm so blessed. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord Jesus, man. Because I remember that shit. That's my driving factors. And my daughter has to eat the best food there is because of her arthritis. So I got to buy organic steak, organic this, organic. Nothing can be touched with poison or she'd be having flare-ups. So I don't even have bro. So I get what she's saying. I feel burnout in a lot of stuff. I even have a couple of people I work with that I'm bro, I can't stand their attitude or they get on my nerves. And I'm bro, I just want to stop working with them and start my own company. But right now, that's just me letting my ego talk. I know how to work with them. I get over it and then I just figure it out. Even when they're majority in the wrong and I'm not. I'm just you know what? Who cares? We're getting money. Let's figure it out, So anyways, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I have a bad moral compass. You'll have to tap in. I don't do evil shit, but I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know.
Such a tumultuous time. Jeff Bezos just had his wedding, and I just feel like none of us want to see that. Like, it's leaving a bad taste in all of our mouths. Like, the timing, bro. Like, it's just not it.
I can't stand people that just watch everyone else. I see Jeff Bezos' wedding. I get excited. I'm like, he spent $50 million. I don't know what he spent, but I'm like, that's the potential in life. This is what we can reach. Like, there's abundance, bro. I don't need a $50 million wedding, but just knowing it's out there gets me excited. I get excited when people are successful because I believe in abundance. People would be like, I know people, but there's people starving all over the world. But I'm like, bruh, like, that's not because of Jeff Bezos, man. That's more because of like governmental factions. There's a lot of politics involved in that stuff, Anyways, I guess I look at things very differently. I never look at someone being successful or having a lot of money and being like, yo, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I'm just not like that, you guys. I get excited. Even if I just get excited, I'm like, yo, this is a possibility in the world today. That's fire to me. That's just how I am. Sorry.
Self-indulgent celebrities prancing around, flashing all their money in front of us when the scales are so imbalanced and there's no justice happening right now. It feels like the oligarchs are winning all the battles, and it's just so defeating. I personally believe they are going to continue to make things more and more uncomfortable for all of us until we stand up and do something about it. But I don't know. I just needed to vent about this and talk to someone about this because it's lonely and it's hard. And I know we're all struggling, but at least we're all in that together. I do have a lot of amazing things in my life that are blessings, and I'm grateful. But sometimes you just gotta vent. But if you need a realtor in the Portland area, shoot me a message. If you feel the same, please comment, follow. If you want to hear more content like this.
I don't.
Where do you all think we're headed here?
I don't
feel like anywhere good, but I'm trying to stay positive. Let me know in the comments.
I personally don't think listening to content like that is going to serve you. I listen to all these positive people who are either wealthy or trying to get wealthy, and that's just where I keep my head. And I've had better, you got to remember, I came from a super left-leaning background, and yo, I'm being oppressed. Yo, people ain't working with me because I'm black. Oh, blah. I had to break that shit, man. The moment I broke that shit and just, but it ain't easy. Timing, luck, a lot of consistency. You got to think, I've been rapping since I was 18 years old. I'm 25. And right now I'm 45 and I'm the most successful that I've ever been in life, So some things just take time. I don't look at life the way, because my thing is not everyone can shine. Everyone's like, these oligarchs, they looking at the oligarchs. And yeah, maybe some of it was handed down. Maybe some of it was done evilly. But if you just look at statistics, bro, most people are average. And there's this small select few that rise above the average, right? And some of that is because of talent, but then some of it's just because someone's willing to outwork the rest. I work like a psycho. I don't want to work this hard, make my money, and then some average MFers just turn into a mob and then take everything I worked for because, the mob wins. So I don't know the answer. I get it. My thing is look, I don't know the tax codes and shit. Maybe these MFs could pay a little more taxes, maybe this, maybe that, without going crazy. But when you look at other people's wealth, when you count other people's money, you do a disservice to yourself. You got to stay dialed in. You got to stay focused on your situation, making things happen. And that's just what I think. I just, I can't, saying I can't go back to this or that. I'm like, if that's where the money's at, that's where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Now I ain't going to go to no islands and be on some flight logs but you get what I'm saying. I have a personal hunger and tenacity, and it's not going to be like this forever, bro. I'm almost 50. I got to get this shit now, bro. Anyways, this kind of riled me up. It made me feel good. Shout out to her, man. Like, I ain't mad at her. I think differently. That's just how I'm wired, you guys. And I've been a rebellious MFer for a very long time. Let me know, man. Have I lost my moral compass? Am I a piece of I'm not an oligarch, dude. I'm a normal dude. I drive a freaking 2007 car. You know what I'm saying? But I still think, like, I get in my car and be like, this is my Jag, baby, or whatever. I don't want a Jag. I don't even know what I want. I don't care about cars. I want to travel and build memories with my family, but I want the freedom to do that at all costs. You know, that's where I'm at. And be able to cover their medical, be able to give them a life they haven't, be able to eat healthy foods, you know. But I wouldn't mind some land and a house on it, pass it down for generations, you know, put that in the trust. You're not allowed to sell this. It's being passed down, whatever, however you would do that, you know. Anyway, I could be tripping. Let me know what I got, what I missed. I'll holler.
City boy, city boy.